It's bigger. It's louder. It's better than ever. This still isn't your typical motorsports podcast. This is the 10th anniversary of Crush This, a monster truck podcast brought to you by J Concepts. For 10 years, your hosts, the monster truck Canucker Brad Shaw and Dan Cheech have brought you into the minds and personalities of the monster truck industry. Strap in and hold on tight. This is Crush This!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crush This, a monster truck podcast. It is me, your favorite neighborhood monster truck Canucker, Brad Shaw here, and it is going to be an awesome episode. We have Mr. Kurt Knockout Artist Kraehmer. I'm going to call him that from now on. I needed to give him a nickname. You know, the dude loves boxing, and I see him as pictures of him, training and all that. So I wanted to give him a boxing themed nickname. So the Knockout Artist Kurt Kraehmer is going to be on here with us. They just got done doing some events down in Florida. We're going to be talking about all that. Talking with Kurt about the all-new Ramdemption name and scheme that he got to debut this year. I got to see Kurt at the World Finals. It was great catching up with him. It's going to be an awesome episode, guys. It's still crazy to me that we've done this for 10 years, and we've had Kurt on. I don't even know how many times we've had Kurt on. Quite a few. But love talking to him. He was a guest host as well with me 2-3 years ago. But guys, we're going to get into it right away here. We have a couple things to let you guys know about. Go check out our buddies over at J Concepts behind Cheech. When he appears on the screen, he'll have two of his RCs behind him, all using J Concepts parts. All of our buddies, Josh Rhodes, Levi, Cheech, so many of our buddies run J Concepts part. Use our code Crush This at jconcepts.net for 15% off all your items. Go check out our spread shop. I've been working on some really cool designs. Cheech sent me a cool quote for a design last weekend, and I am working on it, getting it all prepared, and hopefully that'll be up this week, along with the kind of Crush This retro merch that'll match the crew shirt. So go check that out when it'll be up. I will post that when it is up. Our buddy Bryce Kenny has his book, Geared for Life, Making a Shift into Your Full Potential. It is on audio platforms now, so it's about 5 hours long. I've been listening to it while I've been designing, figuring out this next chapter of my life, and I've read it. Both me and Cheech have read it. It's a really good book. If you're struggling, if you can't find that next gear, as Bryce talks about, this is the book for you. It'll definitely help get you out of that rut that you're in and keep on trucking forward. Our buddy, hashtag do it for Jimmy. Our buddies over at Monsters Monthly, go check them out. If you're unable to find the podcast on streaming platforms, they also put the podcast up on their platform as well. So much cool other stuff they do with some other monster truck content creators. Go check them out, what they do. They are an awesome gang and love talking with them. And guys, we are going to get into the episode right away here. We have we're going to play an ad here from our good buddies over at Monster Truck Attitude, and then we're going to get into the episode with Kurt Kraehmer, and Cheech will be on the screen. So stay tuned, guys.
Are you ready to get in on the action here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel? Look no further. Head over to Facebook where you can sign up for all the great events we host right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Be sure to sign up for the events and register your name and get locked in with a monster truck of your own and get ready for the great thrills and spills right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Again, find us on Facebook, register for these events, and you soon will be competing in all the great events. We hope to see you there, and get ready for the wild and crazy action. Be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a beat right here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel.
Timing again. What's up, guys? It's Cheech here, rocking out the new crew shirt. Thank you, Brad. That was cool. The red, white, and blue and going on there. So want to thank everyone for 10 years. And thank you for all the sponsors, everything like that. the help that even with the monster truck attitude that goes on there, and on fun and stuff like that. So, Kurt, how's it going? Saw you just like about an hour ago, but we gotta kayfabe it. Get out of
Keep it
kayfabe,
kayfabe, brother.
But man, the last time we actually talked to you for been quite some time. A lot of big things happened since kind of this year, and let's talk about it. A new truck, the Ramdemption. You're retired. The Rammunition. You're the last driver for that, and then you go ahead and, I mean, let's talk about the new truck, and then we'll talk about maybe we'll do the talk about Darlington, because that was a pretty cool experience itself. But with you knowing about the changes, the history of Rammunition from 02 to 2025, there's a long longevity, long list of drivers that have made that truck named popular. And before you even went to Hall Brothers, your dream was to drive the Rammunition name. So when it came about, the talks and stuff like that of changing the identity, there, how, with that going on, were you nervous about having a new form of being the first behind the wheel of this new identity?
Hey, yeah, what's up, everybody? Yeah, it has been a minute since I've been last on, and you're exactly right that a lot of things have changed. A lot of things we didn't see coming, like this change, the identity change was it was kind of surprising. I guess it's been flirted with, and then you don't hear anything more on it. Like, hey, we should change Rammunition, and then it kind of goes away. And we've updated the look of it slightly. When it switched to the Rebel HD, and then with some influence of my own and that of Brett over there at Chrysler, we changed it to blue. And so that was kind of cool. And very subtly on that truck, we started removing on both Rammunition and Raminator. We subtly started removing the name Hemi off the trucks. Some of the eagle-eyed fans might notice that kind of we either covered up and or removed Hemi. So as they wanted to kind of distance themselves from the Hemi with the new Hurricane motor going to debut inside the trucks. And then the Hurricane came about, and they actually took the Hemi out of the Ram lineup. And that was met with a little bit of, let's say it was unpopular. And, the administrations in Stellantis at the time thought that was the right move. Well, the market always talks, and it turned out that the new group came in, and Tim Kaniskis came in and took over Ram. They kind of moved some people out, and now we're in what's kind of the Ramdemption era for Ram. Ram likes to say that they don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and we don't want to say mistake, but we want to say maybe they got it slightly wrong. So they said the Hemi's back, everything's back. This is Ram's Ramdemption, as it were. So out of that, the Ramdemption monster truck came back or came out of that. So now we've moved Rammunition to the monster truck to the monster truck history books, and out comes Ramdemption. And it's an exciting part of the monster truck history to be part of.
Well, and this is cool for you because, in a way, Ramdemption's your identity. As Cheech said, there was many other drivers that drove Rammunition, and a lot of great drivers, including yourself, but you getting to debut this name, it's your name. What does that mean for you? What does that mean to you? Because, whenever you get to debut a new name, a new livery, that must be a special moment for yourself as a driver.
It is, and I think it's important to debut strong. You don't want to come out, especially when replacing kind of a name like Rammunition that has a lot of history, has a lot of great drivers, and has had a lot of great drivers behind it. You want to debut strong, and unfortunately, Ramdemption's racing debut in Athens got off to a rough start. We had some starter issues. Then we had a jack shaft coupling issue, and that's not exactly the debut I wanted to have with it. But we rebounded from that, and we ran it strong at the Jamborees there in Bloomsburg, where we're going to be again in Danville, Indiana, coming up in September there. And then we just had a pretty good running out there in Orlando last weekend. So that's all saying Ramdemption's here. It's time to stake a claim. It is kind of, for now, yes, I'm the only driver to run Ramdemption. So we'll see where that goes in the future. But it's looking pretty bright, and I'm excited to be part of. Like I said, unveiling a new identity is kind of cool. Your face is with the truck, like you're saying. But no, it's certainly an exciting deal to debut a new identity.
So let's go back to May, earlier this year. Ram pushed big time with the Ramdemption. They released the news about the Hemi. They released the news about the Craftsman trucks, the Craftsman Truck Series, but they did it in a big way at Darlington, South Carolina, at Darlington Motor Speedway. We had Diesel Dave, the Diesel Brothers. They're doing their big thing over there in social media. Good year. We had both our trucks. Really, the first time that the black and yellow Raminator and Ramdemption kind of appeared in a public setting, but it really wasn't public, but in the atmosphere is kind of the first deal about that. But having that experience of knowing that we're going to be on national television during NASCAR races and stuff like that, the experience of having a monster truck. I remember, what was it, you're waiting, you're the last truck in the group, which most of the footage now outside of Mark's jump was, footage of you driving around the turn. You even said that it felt weird that you're parked on the banking of Darlington. You felt like the truck was going to tip over. But that whole experience in general, Kurt, talk about, being part of one of those mainstream kind of commercial type deals.
Yeah, that was certainly a super fun thing to be part of. And, you were there, and several of our crew were there, and it was a really good experience. When I found out we were going to be shooting a commercial, I thought, well, this is huge. Hall Brothers we were told, got into some close calls with being in some commercials that never formulated. Now this is actually going to happen. We're taking 2 trucks down to Darlington. Again, as a NASCAR fan, it was really cool to go to one of the legendary speedways, and then to shoot this commercial. We shot some jump stuff, and then of course the on track stuff, and that was really neat. I actually did have a chance to savor the flavor when I was out there waiting for one of the takes. It kind of dawns on you, holy cow, I'm driving a monster truck around the banks in the front straightaway at Darlington Speedway. It is pretty cool. And it's neat also to see just in a commercial how many takes and how much production goes into just a commercial. I can't even imagine what a feature-length movie or TV show takes to film, when we're talking about like a 60-second spot, television spot, and all the production, the takes, and that goes into it, the directing, scripts for commercials. It was certainly surreal, and one of those memories that honestly, certainly in my top 5 all-time monster truck Hall Brothers memories is shooting that commercial there in Darlington.
One thing that I always find interesting is even the commercials back in the day when, they were pushing the Hemi big, hey, that thing's got a Hemi, with the 2 rednecks sitting in their car. And, that it must've been really cool, just the whole ordeal. And then going to Michigan and, unveiling Ramdemption at the NASCAR race, the same time they were unveiling, the NASCAR Truck Series Ram. And big shout out to, I think Cheech said Tim Kuniskis, I think is his name.
Yes. Yep. Tim Kuniskis. He's the head of Ram. And now, not just the head of Ram, but all of the North American brands now. So he certainly started something with Ram, so much so that they put him in charge of the other brands too, to kind of get consumer confidence back and get the buyers back, get people buying trucks, cars, and Jeeps again, make the brands exciting as kind of, the old administration kind of moved to more fuel efficiency, some of the electric stuff that the market just plain Jane wasn't excited about and didn't quite sell maybe up to expectations. Well, now we got Tim Kuniskis in there, and he's making things exciting. He was behind one of the chief pioneers of the Hellcat and some of the exciting things that came out of that. So there's exciting stuff coming from Ram and certainly the other Stellantis North American brands as well. So having him behind that, and he was obviously he was a big proponent and big time chief person responsible for getting Ram back in NASCAR, and that's going to be cool because we're going to be doing some touring with NASCAR. So again, coming from a NASCAR fan, that's some exciting stuff. It's something I look forward to being part of.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brad.
Oh, you're good. I just think that's awesome for Stellantis to be like, okay, we were going to push the EV thing, but now we're going to go full bore on electric vehicles again. And, I even think the Hurricane motor, I think that's going to be a cool thing to see. And just bringing back the Hemi, and hopefully you guys will have the Hemi branding back on your trucks. I think that'd be a cool thing to see. For the longest time, they only had the NHRA side with Tony Stewart and Tony Stewart Racing. Now they're gonna I hope to see them bring back the Viper. If they're going to be going full bore on this, bring back the Viper. I wanted to mention that because the Viper is still one of my favorite cars of all time.
Yeah, the Viper. I mean, as far as I know, there's no talks in bringing it back, but I mean, this certainly that would be huge for Todd if the Viper ended up making its way back. But yeah, certainly with the Hemi coming out, it's just been revealed that TRX is confirmed to come back, so that's exciting. So whenever Ram gets excited, we get excited because we're often hand in hand with a lot of these reveals. And it helps that Tim Kuniskis himself is a big Raminator supporter. Matter of fact, when we did that Darlington shoot, Tim Kuniskis actually got up in Ramdemption out there on the front stretch. So that was pretty neat to help him up in there. And but yeah, having somebody like that, that's a supporter of your program, obviously that does wonders for Hall Brothers and the entire team. And really opens up to a whole host of things that we can't even, there's stuff being planned that we don't even know about that is just going to turn out to be really cool. The Michigan Speedway deal, that was awesome. That was a good time. Again, Rams is back in NASCAR. So there's a whole bunch of excitement on the horizon. So
and then some big things going on. Everything's going on with updates and stuff like that. And well, we were gonna go switch over to hot seat, but we want to talk a little bit about your Monster Jam year this year. You did the Monster Jam Arena East tour, and that you came guns blazing, and you put up pretty good performances for freestyle. You did pretty good with fantastic during racing. You had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, a little bit of fire underneath your butt, with this year. And how did you kind of feel about this year in the Monster Jam Arena East tour?
I felt it was, it's funny because I kind of feel like I've had other better seasons, but then when you look at, by race round statistics, I'm not sure where I ultimately ended up at the total end of this series. But, at one point I was third by race round wins. It's just getting all those wins in an order, and, all three in an order in a row to, actually take home a racing element win at an event is the hard part. But I got to the finals a few times. My two-wheel skills, I felt, slipped a little bit this year. I was a little disappointed with that. But other than that, the freestyles were good. Just getting more comfortable with the truck, and then I thought it was a pretty good season. Certainly a good way to kind of send Ramdemption out. This is last Monster Jam season, so it's always cool because you're running with the best of the best there. There's no question.
And your two-wheel skills is improving. You're starting to do the old stoppies. Even at the Champaign County Fair, I've seen you attempting. How's that going? Trying to adjust to trying some of these newer two-wheel skills moves instead of doing a good old school sky wheelie or stuff like that. How's that been going?
Well, it certainly takes you out of your comfort zone. Now you're intentionally tripping the truck up, to get it on its nose, and it's a little daunting staring down right at the dirt. You certainly don't want to go over forwards, which, has happened to me, unfortunately, a few times doing the maneuver. Because when you go over forwards, it tears everything up. You at least get a hood, the cab, and at least one bedside, if not the tailgate too. Sometimes even both bedsides and the tailgate, in addition to the hood and the cab. So it just tears everything up when you go forward end over end. And it doesn't behoove us to run, with half the body parts off, because then you can't identify it as a Ram much anymore, can you? So, but no, and honestly, with the maneuver, I've become more comfortable with it. There's little things I watch out for, little feel things that I'm finally developing a touch for. But sometimes you're dealing with variables. If it's Monster Jam, you're dealing with the variable of how is this pod constructed? Is it a little stout, or what's the dirt consistency of? When you're dealing with K rails, it's a little, that part is more consistent. But you hit K rails too hard, you start tearing up drive shaft components, and then it can take you out of whatever's next in your show. So a lot of those factors go into pulling off the maneuver. But I'm glad I'm pulling it out more than just at Monster Jam now. Makes me feel a little bit better. We have a race later this week, Thursday, the Illinois State Fairgrounds. So excited to go race there. So lots of time to brush up on the skills and just get that maneuver down better.
Well, we got some fan questions here for Kurt, but before we ask that, we got to thank one of our sponsors for that, and then we'll get back, and we have a few fan questions for Kurt Kraehmer. Be right back. So once again, thank you to Back Channel Productions. Watch out for their. I think they did some stuff coming up with West Lab. Go take a look at that. So, Kurt, we got some questions here for you, and I want to give a shout out to Steve Jones, though. Monster Truck Attitude. We had his ad earlier in the podcast. Go take a look at that. He did his Smashdown. Wasn't a big deal for me. Debuted the new Raminator, had the flag. Not very, very good, successful with that stuff. Normally, I'm knocked out about the first round. I think last time I ran last month, I finally broke the egg and moved on to a next round, but got beat after that. So I think the flag gives too much weight. But for those backyard guys, you better watch out. Go after you, and have some fun with that. And then also, congratulations to Tim and the Bounty Hunter. Someone you need to go after and watch for. But outside of that, go show some love, Steve Jones and the Monster Truck Attitude. Well, the first question that we have here is Mr. Monster Truck Sid, I think. CID. Hey, Kurt, Phil. Ramumatic here.
Are you ready, Ramumaniacs?
Maniac here. What's been your favorite venue you have ever competed in?
That's a good question. When I think the favorite venues, I tend to just drift back to maybe ones where it has some sort of meaning for myself. Like I love, I gotta say, Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, because that's where I always went to watch Monster Jam as a kid, and growing up. Even when I grew up, I still went to every Monster Jam there. So a few years ago, I actually got to be part of the race there, and it was cool because the last time I'd been there, I bought my ticket to Monster Jam. Now I got to be one of the competitors in Monster Jam there. So that certainly sticks out as one of my favorite venues. Yeah, there's some, you got to park in that tent if it's the winter show, and it can be brutally cold. And then you have that long tunnel in and out, but the floor's big, and the dirt's usually pretty nice. So definitely, I have to say, Allstate Arena. And then whenever I get the chance, it's always great to go back to where I got my racing start. Just in motorsports in general. My motorsports foundation came from Route 66 Raceway and the Team Demolition Derby program. And so anytime I could find a way to bring a monster truck to Route 66 Raceway and do their Monster Mayhem show, which I've fortunately been able to do twice, that's certainly a favorite venue also.
So question here, and I'm going to change it a little bit. Do you watch Monster Truck Attitude? Who is your favorite driver, and why is it Cheech? I had to do it to you, Shaggy. Raggy. But my actual question is from our buddy Sean Green. Great guy. Kurt, what's the difference between the Hurricane and the Hemi? If people don't know what the Hurricane is, what motor is that? And then why is it different than the Hemi?
It was Stellantis's answer to increasing fuel efficiency regulations. It's an inline twin turbo 6-cylinder gas engine. It gives you comparable V8 power, maybe slightly less on your towing capacity, but marginally. But with giving you increased fuel mileage. So that's what the Hurricane is. The Hemi, of course, is legendary. V8, true V8 Hemi. The Hemi, obviously, the hemispherical combustion chamber, which means it's like a dome, and the spark plugs in the center of the two valves and that's that's certainly the case with our race motors and the Hall Brothers trucks. So that combustion chamber is like a dome, and your spark plugs in the center, your valves are on the side. And what that allows you to do is get more fuel and air in there. You develop more power. You can run bigger valves, and your spark plugs right in the center, so it it ignites everything equally. So it's not like a wedge combustion chamber like some of your Fords and Chevys are.
And then I think someone talked about it. It's similar to the Raptor engine. I don't know. I guess the turbocharged stuff, but yeah, something like that. But so with that too, a lot of people may not know you're also the representative of the Hotsy monster truck too. That's right behind me. Well, my RC version of it, but you also yourself have an RC version of that too. But we'll also talk about the update of the other RC stuff that you have. But you ran that also, and maybe explain to people a little bit why during halfway in the Monster Jam season, you go from Ramdemption / Ramdemption, and then you throw in the Hotsy body. There's some people may not follow NASCAR, may not follow NHRA, and know that some of these cars flip bodies back and forth. So let's have a little bit of a Hotsy chat.
Well, you kind of hit it on your head with your NASCAR analogy. It's like Tim says, he kind of considers me like a Kyle Busch who one day wears M&Ms and the next minute wears one of his other sponsorships and then switches back to another primary. And this is really no different. We switch to Hotsy and big time Hotsy markets. We give them the list of the shows we're going to be competing at, and we ask them, okay, out of this list of venues we're going to and cities, which of them would you like to see the truck perform in? And then there's other logistical things that go into that too, like whether, we're not going to change the effort of changing bodies for one particular race and then switching back. So you kind of pick a block out to where we can switch and remain Hotsy for that group of blocks. And that's just, what's a good Hotsy market? What do they think is the Hotsy market? It's their company. So wherever they think that they sell the most Hotsies, where we're going to run Hotsy at. Texas, that's a big one for Ram and Hotsy. Certainly some of the Midwestern states, Nebraska's huge Hotsy market. And one of the biggest farm shows we do for them is on the static display part of the deal is Husker Harvest Days. That's coming up in September. We're going to be there again, like we are every year with the truck. Yeah, it's certainly it's wherever there's a big Hotsy market. That's where that's when we run Hotsy as far as racing it, And then sometimes where it makes sense, where we have to run 3 identities, such as the Champaign County Fair and Bloomsburg, that again we ran it there just because we booked 3 identities, and those are the 3 we have between Raminator, Ramdemption, and Hotsy.
And you mentioned the farm shows, and I see that you're always out there with that, and you're obviously traveling all over, I've seen you sometimes in California, and for you guys use Hotsy equipment at your guys' shop. I remember getting a tour of your shop when I met Cheech there a couple of years ago. I think it was 2022 when I went down for the Indy Jamboree, and they're a great sponsor for you guys because your trucks get muddy. What's the best thing to use? A Hotsy, because it's just a great partnership with you guys. Talk about the interactions that you get at some of the farm shows, the responses to seeing the monster truck there.
It's funny that you say that because we do farm shows is the biggest. When it gets down to brass tacks, Hotsy is more a display program than it is a race program. And a majority, we do some Hotsy dealer visits, don't get me wrong, but that's a small piece of what some of the display stuff we do for Hotsy. Most of it's at these big either ag expos or farm shows. And, a lot of these farm shows we do year after year. World Ag's one and Farm Progress. Again, that's one that's coming up. That's at the end of the month. That's really close one. That's in Decatur, Illinois. We're there year after year with the truck. And it's funny. I can certainly cite Husker Harvest as one of them. There's a group that comes every year to get their photo with the monster truck, and they say we do this every year. We get our photo with the truck, even if the truck hasn't changed and we haven't modified it at all. They still come to get their photo with the monster truck. It's popular, no matter the fact that we bring it year after year. There's a lot of it's also kind of cool because some of these bigger, like the World Ag Expo in Tulare, California. And Husker Harvest and Farm Progress both, you're going to get folks that are international farmers that come overseas just to go to these farm shows and meet some of the vendors and companies that they deal with. When they stop by our booth, they're just blown away because some of them haven't even seen a monster truck before, and that's true with people in the States too. It's funny, monster truck's been around for 50 years now, and there's still some people. Okay, what is this used for? What is this? And you kind of have to explain to them what a monster truck is. So I think that's part of the enduring legacy of the Hotsy truck is just broadening people's minds, and even the people that are fans of it that come by year after year. I think that's pretty cool when we do the farm shows, and that's something I look forward to when people say, this is my favorite part of the farm show, seeing the truck right here. On occasion, was it a few years ago, or a year ago, I did Boone, the Farm Progress in Boone, Iowa, and Digatron was there. Feld had their Digatron there at JCB, of course, and me and Dustin Lamar was there with the truck, and we coordinated a move out together with them, and we both drove them out together, and it was kind of cool, little mini truck parade between the two. We drove them out of the farm show to tear down together, and so I think that's kind of cool. On occasion, we're there with other trucks too. And on super rare occasions, hasn't happened while I'm here. We've had a Raminator or Rammunition at the time at the Ram booth, and then of course we've had Hotsy at its booth. So I'm hoping that'll happen sometime because I just think that's kind of cool to have two different trucks there. But yeah, so that's some of the cool stuff that goes on at some of these farm shows for Hotsy.
So additional to the big events that we do with the Farm in Progress, the Hotsy stuff, this year alone, people may not have, may have a hard understanding that what we do at Hall Brothers is a little bit different than the standard. We monster truck race, but we have so many opportunities that is different on doing like car crushing displays. Someone did a video about our program and talked about how car crushing is now a lost art form. And a couple of trucks like one at RC Fest. It was mostly clearing the cars, but we do car crushes and stuff like that. But then again, we do the Super Bowl, the national championship, the Kid Rock concert, NASCAR, Ram commercials, just the opportunity that we have to bring a monster truck to the masses that don't follow monster trucks that often. That opportunity itself, it got to be pretty cool knowing, we're doing stuff in the public eye that'll, not a lot of people see. Like Tim says, and tells people all the time, racing's such a small part of what we do. Honestly, there's enough work between Hotsy and Ram, especially in this era, to where, quite honestly, we don't even need to race. We like to race. That I certainly I don't just want to do displays, but all the time I got to get my race fix in. But you're right. I mean, we do car crushes at your local dealer.
we do everything from car crush at your local dealer to a national TV ad, and everything in between. We're going to do auto shows. Again, with Ram back in NASCAR, next year we're going to be probably following the NASCAR circuit around at major venues. Just everything, any place to bring awareness to the Ram brand, we're there. You know, and another talking point that Tim says, we go to a lot of events where you typically wouldn't expect to see a monster truck, but where there's truck buyers. We've done, you know, we've done fishing shows, hunting shows. Again, is that a monster truck market? No, but it's a truck buyer market. So anywhere where there's truck buyers, we're going to set up a display. Wherever Ram thinks is pertinent to where the truck can bring people in, we're going to do a display. We got the ride truck. Ride truck just got done. You know, Levi did a really good, Levi and Drew and Nathan and Alan did a really good job. You know, was it 25 days out in Sacramento at the California State Fair with the ride truck, which is now sporting a Ramdemption livery. So that's kind of cool that now there's a Ramdemption ride truck, so you could ride Ramdemption. You know, the ride truck does a whole bunch of stuff for us. We have our picture truck, which ironically is also now wearing Ramdemption livery. So you could sit in a Ramdemption, get your picture taken. And again, that's anywhere where there's truck buyers. We just want to let people know that Ram's back and engage with the fans, engage with the folks that are attending these expos. And certainly when it comes down to the local dealership deal, that's all about bringing people on the dealership lot. You know, and it might not necessarily be, well, we got to sell a bunch of units that day, but you're going to bring people a lot, get them thinking about that new truck that they might think that they need. And just maybe they'll come back to that dealer the next time. Hey, let's go back to that dealer where we saw the monster truck crush the cars. And that's a big part of our program. So certainly that's in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do for Ram. And that's why we're so important to them. We're grassroots marketing and advertising, and obviously a little more than grassroots when you're talking about being part of a commercial. But we're big time with them. We do a lot of cool events. My favorite all-time event, though, was crushing cars right off the Las Vegas Strip for Ram, coinciding with the National Finals Rodeo. I mean, that certainly sticks out as a career highlight. Right now where the now gone Tropicana is, we crushed cars right there, a small little area. You know, it wasn't a super exciting, you know, area to drive in because it was literally just kind of drive over the cars and 3-point turnaround to drive over them the other way. But still, the location right off the Vegas Strip, right by the Tropicana, certainly was cool. So that's some of the exciting things that you get to do for Hall Brothers. Go to some pretty cool venues. Again, not necessarily monster truck venues, but venues where there's truck buyers and engaging with anybody that's thinking about buying a truck. That's where we're gonna be at.
You know, and I will say, you know, those guys at the California State Fair, Levi and them, they were top notch. Got to see those guys earlier on my trip. But we're gonna play one more ad from our buddies over at J Concepts /MTRC. We will be back with Kurt, the knockout artist Kraehmer. And we are back. One, I kind of want to go back to what we were talking about, with you guys doing, displays, hot seat displays, dealership displays. One thing that I will say this, and because where I live in Canada, we don't get a lot of monster truck shows. But I remember Bigfoot would come up here to some of the tire shops and do a display. I remember former Hall Brothers driver Mike Miller coming up, and I got to run RII for his car crush display. But sometimes that's the only chance people get to see monster trucks. If they're in a more not a rural area, but a little bit farther, that they can't obviously go to a Monster Jam show or a Throwdown show. That must be really cool for you guys, being able to bring monster trucks to some communities that people normally don't get to see them often, only on TV.
Yeah, and we'll get visitors to our car crushes coming up and saying just that. A lot of times, folks will show up to our local dealer, and they'll just they'll use it as a test bed. They'll take their kids to it, see how their kids react to it. Maybe their kid might have autism, or maybe they don't know if their kid's quite into it, or if their kid's too young. So they'll kind of get their feet wet, so to speak, at the local dealer, just showing them a car crush. And then that sometimes, oh, he did fine there. Yeah, he's really into it. I'm going to take him to a monster truck show next. So I think that's you're exactly right. Sometimes, let's be honest. A lot of the monster truck shows are expensive. Sometimes people plain Jane can't afford to go to a monster truck show. Our car crushes are free for anybody to attend if they're at a dealership. So all you got to do is show up and stay behind the lines and just enjoy the car crush. So that's why I think that's why car crushing is so important to me. You get to interact right there with all the folks that come up, and that's a big part of our deal, interacting with them. We of course try to get them to interact and sign up for our contest that we do everywhere that we go for RAM, which is enter to win $100,000 towards a new truck. We do that at all our activations. So of course we want them to do that, but we just want them to have a good time and show them exactly what we do. And what we do is monster trucks. What we do is promote the Ram brand.
And we're going to go and go a little bit personal here. And a lot of people ask about this, but how is the submarine update?
I just haven't had a whole lot of time to work on it. We've been, really busy. Again, we just got back in from Orlando, had some rig trouble, and then today we're right back at the shop. But we're working. I'm working on it. I got two kind of small but major problems with it. I've got a servo reach problem. I'm getting rudder throw hard in one direction and not so much in the other direction. I got to figure out how to space that out and get that to where it's equilateral. And then I've got a drive shaft coupling issue with it that I've got to solve. But once I get that done, should be ready to hit the pool. I get like momentum on it, and I get some time to work on it, and then I don't, and then it kind of languishes. So I do need to get back on it, because the few times I've had it in the water, I've been a little disappointed with it. But all the lighting tests and stuff, that looks pretty cool. It's just getting it to function right.
I also know you're a huge music nerd. You one of your favorite bands, Mushroom Head. What have you been listening to lately? Maybe a little bit of Nickelback, a little bit of San Quentin.
Nickelback's good. Although one of our guys that works with us probably listens to it a little bit too much, and I'm by no means jumping on the bandwagon. Hey, matter of fact, you talk about cool venues we do RAM events at. Cheech already mentioned it. We did the Kid Rock Rock the Country event out in Michigan, and Nickelback was part of that lineup. But we completed our display part of the deal with RAM, and then so after that, we transitioned and we enjoyed some of the concert. And I have to say, Nickelback put on one really good set. I mean, they were really entertaining. Played some really good music. Were really energetic. But yeah, Mushroomhead always. When somebody asks what's my favorite band, I mean that's it. That's it, hands down. They're my favorite band. I can't even tell you what really drew me to them. I think kind of their look was cool and their sound was cool, and the two of them together just really cool. And I've been fortunate enough, this job provides many opportunities to pique people's interest, and I've actually became buddies with one of the members, Robbie, who's come out. He actually came out to a Monster Jam. Actually, came out to a couple Monster Jams when we did Cleveland. Was that last year or a couple of years ago? He came out to that Cleveland one, and I got him out to one of the ones this year. Although I didn't get to hang out with him this time. We were busy after the show and such. But so that's kind of cool to make inroads with your favorite band. So look forward to seeing them perform any chance I get. There's some really cool concerts coming up. I was rocking out to some Power Man 5000 too on the way home from Orlando. So it was kind of cool to listen to them again. And I think they were recently on tour. I don't know if there's a chance to see them, but yeah, any chance I could get away to a concert, I do.
A little bit of a question there for Levi for you. Well, speaking of which, I think Ramdemption's theme song is a Mushroomhead song.
It is, again, they're my favorite band. I try to promote them because they're mainstream, but not like super huge mainstream. Like they're mainstream that maybe they're more than I think they're more than just a club band. They play some of the bigger rock and metal festivals out there. But I don't know, not that I owe them anything, but I try and promote them, and I'm just a big fan of their music. So I've wanted one of their songs to run with the truck, and I've tried before, been unsuccessful. One of the songs I asked for was deemed too heavy, but there's one, actually it's off one of their older albums. It's almost a 20-year-old album or so by now, but there's a song, Almost Gone, off their album 13, that actually at the start of it had an engine revving up. And I thought that'd be perfect for Ramdemption, especially when you're talking about the return of the Hemi, the engine revving up. And so I asked for that one. It's something Monster Jam had the rights to, and they approved it. So I finally got a Mushroomhead song as a truck's theme song. So just ear to ear happy about that. And told Robbie about that, and he told the head honch over there at Mushroomhead about that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Man, Monster Jam would hate for me to choose a song because all I listen to is like really heavy stuff. But I will say I will not tolerate any Nickelback slander. Nickelback is a great band. People that don't like Nickelback, they need to go
Canada
somewhere else. Okay, it's not just because they're a Canadian band from Alberta. Honestly, their older albums are amazing. Like,
yeah, that is
the opening track to I'm trying to remember the song right now. It has a Follow You Home. That drum intro, one of my all-time favorites.
Isn't that
it's not
long way,
the long road. Yes, yeah. That opening drum fill, oh, so good.
I will I'll do you one better, and it's a song that I was a little disappointed that they didn't play live. Leader of Men, they did not play that, and little disappointed that they did not play that, just to appease a deep cut old album, OG Nickelback. Little not mad at them certainly by any stretch for not playing that, but I thought that would have been a good one to pull out, I guess.
And you also, Cheech.
Go ahead, Matt.
You also mentioned Power Man 5000. Great band.
Great band to see live. I mean, I saw them live in Tinley Park, and it was just, you know, it was ecstatic, you know, just leaving there. Everybody's all amped up. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, like, they're such a great band, and if people don't know, that's Rob Zombie's brother, I believe, the lead singer of Powerman 5000. So I guess it runs in the family.
Yeah, really good band. And the reformed Static X. Obviously, Wayne Static passed away several years ago, but they've reformed with the singer they call Zero. He wears a mask of Wayne's and has his hair spiked up. Same thing, but it's all the other original members, and that's pretty cool. Here's a fun metal story. When I was looking before I got into boxing, I was, you know, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to get into boxing or drums. I wanted to take on a hobby that would kind of coexist and kind of connect and help out with racing. And I thought either drums would do that, and I thought boxing would do that. I took a drum lesson at Guitar Center in Champaign, and the instructor there is Ken, the drummer from Static X. So I got a drum lesson from the drummer of Static X. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That's actually really cool. And like drums for me, I've been drumming for 16 plus years. Drums for me is clarity, you know. I'm sorry, Cheech, we've been all talking about music. But once I start talking about music, because we're all music nerds, you know, and that's the thing. Music impacts so much more. Like I remember, like just even some of the music in like some of the tribute videos people would do, or in the old video games, like the Tony Hawk's games. Music is such an important part of even just monster trucks, like all the like different theme songs, excluding JCB Diggertron. No, thank you.
Dig.
Diggertron, it's a monster truck.
All right.
Boy, we're not going to be invited to many JCB events, are we?
I don't think so. Not anytime soon. So, you know, we talk about, you know, you have, you know, you have been open about your boxing, your training, and, you know, you now are more, I have another friend of mine. He does jiu-jitsu, and he said he has burned more calories and more sweat doing jiu-jitsu in 2 hours than he normally does his training in a week. Do you feel like that a little bit with boxing? You know, because a lot of the way they do it over there is they have fighters, they have golden gloves, they have US boxing people and stuff like that, but they also have people using it as a workout. And for some people that may not know about it, is that it could take a lot out of you.
Oh, it certainly does. I have to say, you know, I started watching when I started getting into it, I started watching these Tony Jeffrey videos on Instagram and YouTube. I recommend them. And then, you know, just going to class, it's just it's an intense workout, but man, you feel like amped up. You feel drained, but you certainly get results out of it. I think that's what's cool than just going and doing your own thing at a gym. And I'm certainly not knocking that. But for me, I get a lot out of going and being part of a class. And at Luyando Boxing there in Champaign, and I talk about this with some members, it's like you are kind of part of a family there. You're part of a team, and they're intense workouts, but everybody's there to help get you through it. You know what I mean? And then you feel like you're part of something when you get through a class, you know, and I take personal training sessions usually on Tuesday mornings too, just to kind of sharpen my skills. It's just fun. It's good, great for fitness. You burn a lot, like you said, you burn a lot of calories. I I've lost weight and put on muscle. So, between boxing and doing my own little post workout, and I think there's no question that it helps inside the truck too. I mean, you talked about you've had some pretty good seasons, and that's since I've really picked up doing the boxing. I think it really does help in the truck. I honestly do. Could it be placebo effect? Certainly. Don't deny it. Could be. Could it be coincidence? Certainly. But I think it makes a difference.
Well, obviously, because with boxing, you're doing a lot of hand-eye coordination, and that really helps. Noticing okay when the light goes green, hitting the throttle, or just your more better reaction times. I feel like that's a true thing.
Yeah, and what you learn in boxing is not to and a lot of the new boxers, and I still do it. Like I'm tensed up, I'm gonna throw a punch, and in the monster truck, if you're too, I'm gonna drive a monster truck, and you're all tensed up. Tense and tight is slow, and loose is fast. So when you get to loosen up, your punches go faster, and then you learn to loosen up in the truck. So everything's like when you're shifting, it's a quick slip, and then in our trucks, obviously our steering's over to the left side, so all the hand movements, they just seem to flow a little bit faster.
And so with that, we're coming to our conclusion of our podcast here. Can anyone follow? I mean, yeah, anyone can follow you. Yes, they can. What's your social media that people can follow you at?
Let's see. It's Kraehmerman81 on Instagram. That's the best way to follow all myself on socials. And then a few of my fans and supporters have created the Kurt is the GOAT chat room. And again, I didn't name it, but these are people that are supporters. So Kurt is the GOAT Instagram chat room. And I'm going to promote all the guys in there. There's some pretty cool guys and some pretty cool Kurt Kraehmer supporters in there.
Are you looking it up right now, Cheech?
Apply to ask to be part of that group. It's kind of the Kurt Kraehmer fan access portal. I go on there at least. I try to every day, and I certainly keep up with messages on that one specifically. Yeah, it's Kurt is GOAT, I think. But yeah, look it up and join that chat room. And it kind of somebody started creating an Insta chat room and invited a whole bunch of felt drivers, and a whole bunch of them left, and then this kind of formulated out of that. So they were instrumental creating an underground movement to get me in the last chance qualifier this year. Didn't quite work. I thought I deserved so on my racing record, but didn't quite pan out. I hope one year I'll make it to the World Finals. That's certainly a goal of mine. But you never know what the future holds. But yeah, them are a good group of folks on there, and that's kind of my Kurt Kraehmer fan access portal. Besides just following me on Instagram.
And then Cheech, where can people follow the Flying Panda
at? Follow me on Facebook at Daniel Cheech Agosh. Instagram MT_Dan. I don't even know my own Instagram. Thank goodness on my phone. MT_Dan Agosh 28. I'm also on TikTok. I don't really promote my TikTok. I just kind of show random videos, but it's just Dan Cheech Agosh on TikTok. And I kind of show my hobbies like RC, diecast collecting, sports. I do a lot of the blind rankings of NHL hockey jerseys and stuff like that. So I do that stuff. So follow me there, and also do it for Jimmy. Remember, February 30th and 31st, DeLand, Illinois. Jimmy, we're gonna have doing. We're gonna have some guy named Mark Warner. He's gonna do a stunt in front of a monster truck and go from there. So we're gonna go from there. But anyway, Brad, how about you?
Well, you guys can follow me at The Only Monster Truck Canucker on Instagram, Shaw Speed Design Co. Again, no more BS. I'm hitting that hard, creating some really cool stuff. I showed Cheech earlier some stuff I've been working on. Bradley Shaw on Instagram or on Facebook, ShawSpeedDesignCo.com. Getting that built up. Hoping to work with the All Monster Group on getting the website kind of better than what it was. A lot of cool stuff in the works. As you can see, Cheech has got the 10th year anniversary crew shirt. Was able to get that to him finally. The new shirt design. He's got rocking the Excalibur 40th, so 2 anniversaries in one there. Hoping to have some of the new merch up this week, like I mentioned. A lot of cool stuff happening. Rolling on all cylinders, baby, and just kicking ass like we've done for the last 10 years on this podcast. Thank you guys for all the 5-star likes, reviews, subscriptions, comments, everything. All that means a lot to us.
Take a photo.
Yeah, tag Cheech, tag me, tag Kurt, tag the podcast. We love the support. Thank you guys for always watching for the last 10 years. And Cheech, who is our guest for next week, sir?
That will be a TBA.
Okay. So TBA for next week.
Anything I was supposed to have said you need to do another time. So I'm going to search for another guest. So.
Okay. And Cheech, anything else before we sign off the air here, buddy?
Well, like Kurt said, me and him are going to be at Springfield, Illinois, Thursday. Levi will be at the Iowa State Fair starting on Thursday also. If you're in the Huntington Township, Pennsylvania, you can see Mandel and his buddy and them bringing the ride truck over. And also, we're all over the place at Hall Brothers. And also this weekend. So after the racing on Thursday, we're going to go and also do the Roadkill Nights over there in Detroit. The big festival pretty much of horsepower. And,
hell yeah, brother.
Drag racing on the main street, doing an exhibition car crush, I think at 1:00 that Saturday. And then go from there. But yeah, we're going to be busy. And it's going to be crazy. But it's all good.
Yeah. Are we going to go, Cheech, are we going to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th anniversary there in theaters?
I want to.
Let's go.
I was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2 earlier on YouTube.
Such a good movie.
It is a great movie. You know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a perfect example where 1, 2, and 3 good, all right. 3 was just terrible, but some people may act different. But I'm a 1 and 2 guy. Same thing with Back to the Future. I like 1 and 2. Not really was a big fan of 3, but.
See, the next movie I want to go see in theaters is The Naked Gun, because I love the original movies. I haven't finished it yet, but I started watching Happy Gilmore 2. Amazing. They did a great job on that.
Good too.
But Naked Gun, one of the best, slapstick comedy movies like Hot Shots, Airplane. I can't wait to see it. Like, I am really excited for that. But until next week, guys, for 10 years, we've been saying it. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody. Peace.